What's up, guys? Welcome to the SGN podcast. I'm your host, Diego Call, bringing you some more E3 coverage. And this episode is going to be about the Ubisoft press conference. And I got to say, this one started off very, very well. And it just got worse and worse and worse, basically. I guess there were some high moments in between. But definitely it started off with a bang with Watch Dogs Legion. I haven't played any of the other two Watch Dogs just because the first one, they lied completely. They showed a bunch of stuff that wasn't actually how the game looked. They completely lied about how good the graphics were, and they completely lied about a lot of the things that you could actually do. So they immediately lost me there. Watch Dogs 2 was still kind of having some of the same issues that I was personally having when it comes to the first game. I was still feeling the anti-Ubisoft vibe. I wasn't too interested in playing it. And I just never really gave it a chance, even though I did actually own the game for free and stuff like that. I think it was Games of Gold that actually gave us the first one. Maybe it was the second one, but I'm pretty sure I owned at least one of the two. I just never got around to playing it. But regardless, when they showed this game, I was initially like, okay, fine, it's just Watch Dogs in London. But as soon as it said permadeath, I was like, this is interesting. And then of course they show that you can pretty much recruit anybody throughout the entire city. Every NPC or I guess playable character in the entire city has a backstory, has dialogue, and that's insane. That is 100% insane. I don't know if there's ever been a game like this that has that kind of ambition. It's one thing to have NPCs that have some little dialogue here and there, when they're walking by they say something. We've seen that in GTA, we've seen that in tons of games before, but it's a completely different thing to where every single character you see on the screen you can recruit to your team, and they have their own specialties. You can improve. It's just an insane idea. Whether the execution is going to be good or not remains to be seen. But the idea itself, I think, warrants us giving this game a chance. Will I pick it up at launch? I don't know. To be honest with you. We'll see. I think it comes out in 2020 anyway, so there's still plenty of time. But regardless, I think it was March 2020. I might be wrong, but I think it was March 2020. But regardless, this game is looking very, very promising. Graphically, I don't think they're lying to us because it seems like it's no better than any of the recent Ubisoft games. So it looks like they're at least being honest with what the game's going to look like, and that's positive. I mean, I can't really complain about anything we saw there. What was interesting was there's a huge variety of the looks of the characters. It's not like you're only using young men, young women. Not like you're only using men. Not like you're only using women. But you can use old men. You can use old women. There's plenty of stuff there to where you can literally have a completely different team to what anybody else you will know will definitely have. We would literally have a complete team of nothing but old women. It's just insane. It's insane. So, like I said, whether this will actually work when it comes to the game coming out, we'll see. But on paper, this is very, very interesting. And I think this is going to be a huge hit for Ubisoft if they can actually hit the nail on the head. If they can do that, then it'll be very, very good. So I'm interested. And this looks like arguably the best Ubisoft game they've made in a long, long time, considering Assassin's Creed's gone down the drain. And I guess it's technically maybe come back up a little bit. I haven't played Origins or Odyssey just because I don't have any faith in them. And I don't know. They seem like it's more pay to, they kind of have paywalls there, so it doesn't really interest me that much. But, this might be the best Ubisoft game we've seen in a long time, which isn't necessarily saying much, but it's definitely looks like a step in the right direction. A very, very ballsy move, especially if there are no microtransactions, if there are no loot boxes and stuff like that. If it is just 100% pure game where you can pretty much do anything, then that's a very, very, very big thing for Ubisoft. Moving on, they showed Rainbow Six Siege Operation Phantom Sight, which I've never played Rainbow Six Siege. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, and they showed this funny character who looks like a 007 type of guy with the funny mustache who makes funny faces as he kills everybody. So, I mean, it looks like it's I don't know. I've never played this game, and I probably should have eventually gotten to it to at least just give it a little bit of a trial, just to try it out. But it's one of those it's come and gone for me, and I have no interest in playing it. But I guess it looks kind of funny, and I'm sure that anybody who's a fan of the series is probably going to enjoy that just because it's a new character. And I don't know what implications that actually has. How unique are these characters? Do they have specific movesets? I don't know anything about them, so nothing about that trailer really enthused me. But I'm sure the Rainbow Six Siege fans are probably going to be pretty excited about that. And then they showed Brawlhalla Adventure Time crossover. Now I've never played Brawlhalla. I've never even watched an episode of Adventure Time, really. Not that I wanted to watch it. So, um, I'm just not a fan of Adventure Time. I don't like the drawings, and I've heard good things about it from a lot of people that I trust, and I'm sure it's not a bad show. It's just I'm not a big fan of animation. I'm not a fan of this type of stuff, and just looking at the drawings, it just kind of, yeah, it doesn't appeal to me in any way whatsoever. And this type of fighting game itself also doesn't appeal to me, so this is a big no-no for me. So apart from Legion, or what's it called? Legion. They didn't really hit me with anything impressive when it comes to the first three. So the first one was great. The next two were just very meh. And then they hit me with something that I'm actually really excited about. Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Breakpoint. So the latest Ghost Recon game, which is, I think, yeah, I would say that alongside Splinter Cell, this is my favorite series by far in the Tom Clancy, I guess you could say, universe. So I'm actually really excited about this, mostly because, of course, there's Jon Bernthal. So I'm a huge fan of the Punisher series. Season 1, phenomenal. Season 2 had its moments, but it had its issues as well, so not bad. But regardless, you can't fault his acting. And, of course, he was Shane in one of the very few good seasons of The Walking Dead. So I think that, in general, he's a very good actor. He's entertaining as hell, no matter what kind of character he's portraying. And from what we've seen so far, he seems like he's a very, very good actor in this game as well. We haven't seen much about him, of course, but all the scenes have actually shown him, and he's a villain this time. So, of course, Shane was kind of a villain in some ways, because, of course, he was banging Rick's wife and stuff like that. So he was sort of a villain, comes towards the end, but this is the first time that I can think of that we've actually seen him as a full-on villain. So I'm looking forward to seeing this, especially because he's like a small group of special forces who are, I think, like I said, you have the numbers, but we have the strategy, we have the tactics, we have the superior weaponry. So it looks like a very, very interesting idea, and I look forward to giving this a shot. It seems like it's going to be kind of a survival type Ghost Recon game, so that could be hit and miss. I'm not a huge fan of survival games, but I think that with him in it, and with it being a Ghost Recon game, which, like I said, it's a series I really like, then I'll give it a shot. I very much look forward to this. Alongside Legion, the first four, it was hit and miss, but these two in particular, I really like this. Of course, we didn't get to see much game. We didn't get to see any gameplay, actually, if I'm not mistaken. But Legion, we saw a lot of gameplay, so that made me happy. And just in general, this looks pretty good. So, so far, not bad. And unfortunately, it just kind of gets worse and worse from here. They showed some For Honor, the new expansion, Shadows of. Well, it's not even really an expansion. It's like a limited time event, which is from the 13th of June to the 27th of June. So it's very limited, which means there's pretty much no interest for me to go into there and play it. I played it for a week or two when it first launched, and then pretty much never picked up again. It wasn't bad. It's just it wasn't really good, and I've heard that it's actually gotten a lot better as of late. But I'm just not. I don't know. I don't really have the desire to go back into it and really give it a shot. But I'm sure this is gonna be a decent little time event, and it is what it is. Then they showed Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Quarantine. So another Rainbow Six game, but with zombies. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and pass on that one. No interest there. Then they mentioned the new episode or whatever the hell this is. I honestly have never played Division, either one or two. So I have no idea how this works exactly. From what I've understood, it's kind of it's divided in kind of like seasons, kind of like a lot of Battle Royales are doing and stuff like that. So, I mean, I guess this is season 3, sort of, and not interesting to me. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. This doesn't really interest me. This whole persistent world type thing it just doesn't appeal to me, and I'd rather play other stuff. And this was another fail for me, in my opinion. Then they came out and they showed Roller Champions, a game all about roller derbies. It looks like they're kind of trying to go the Rocket League route and making some kind of competitive game that's free to play. I think they said it is, and it's colorful. It's going to kind of have esports components to it, but to be honest with you, not even close to being my cup of tea, so I'll pass on this one as well. Gods and Monsters. So this is from the makers of Assassin's Creed. At first glance, it looks kind of like a Zelda Breath of the Wild clone, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I actually never played Zelda, even though my girlfriend owns it, and she's played, a few hundred hours on it, and she loves it. But when I look at Zelda, yeah, I used to play the old ones like Ocarina of Time. Yes, I played some of those, even on like the 3DS remaster and all that stuff. But I don't know. I just can't bring myself to play Zelda. And honestly, like looking at this, I can't see myself playing Gods and Monsters. And of course, you have to give these games a chance, at least up until they come out, and kind of see how they are and really understand what type of stuff they are. Because all these games we didn't really see gameplay, so we don't know what it actually looks like. We don't know what it's sort of gonna feel like. So it's kind of hard to judge based on just trailers and stuff like that. So I don't know. Like I'm not interested in it, to be honest, at first glance. But I guess as time goes on, maybe they'll prove that it's going to be a worthwhile game. I think up until Assassin's Creed Black Flag, I was a big fan of the Assassin's Creed series. So that they kind of channel some of that into this, then maybe they'll appeal to me. But ever since then, I haven't been able to get back into Assassin's Creed, and I don't know. I don't really have any faith in that studio in particular. You know what I'm saying? Like, they haven't shown anything since Assassin's Creed Black Flag to make me think that they have what it takes to really make a game that's worth spending the money on for me. So we'll see. Another thing that they mentioned is their new Uplay Plus, I think is what it's called. It's essentially a subscription service, much like EA Access, with the difference being that EA Access is much cheaper. But what they do actually have here, which is interesting, is the fact that much like Game Pass, for Xbox, where all Xbox exclusives are available at launch on Game Pass, this is going to have the same thing but for Ubisoft games. So when Watch Dogs Legion comes out, it'll already be on your Uplay subscription. Same thing will be for, presumably, for Ghost Recon. Same thing for Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Quarantine, all that type of stuff. So I guess you are technically getting bang for your buck. It is like $15, $15.99 actually, I think it is, not $14.99 but $15.99 for in the US. I don't know how much it's going to be over here in Italy in euros, but presumably it'll be around 13 to 14. So let's just say $15. You're looking at $180 a year for what is essentially amounting to 3 games. Now, I'm not going to lie to you guys. I can't remember the last time I bought one Ubisoft game in a year, let alone 3. So for me personally, that's a very, very bad deal. For me personally. Unlike with Game Pass, where there's a ton of games from different studios with developers who have completely different styles, and there's pretty much anything for anybody. There's at least something for everybody. This doesn't really have that. So yes, I'm interested in 2 of the games, but that doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to buy any of them at launch. So I don't see myself spending $140 on Ubisoft games, let alone spending $180. So if you're a big fan of Ubisoft style, if you're a big fan of their series, then definitely go ahead and do this. But for me personally, I think this isn't exactly what I'm interested in. And I think I would skip that if it was me personally. But if I have to give this conference a rating, considering I give Microsoft's like a 7, and I thought Microsoft's was definitely better than this one, I think I'm going to give this one a 5. I'm going to give it a 5 just because. Actually, you know what? I'll go ahead and give it a 6 just because there were actually 2 games that interest me, and they did actually show gameplay for Watch Dogs Legion. So I will give them credit for that. The rest of it, not really my cup of tea, but it was average. I don't think it was below average considering the level of this year. I'm not going to compare it to necessarily past years. I'm going to compare it to what I've seen so far this year. Of course, keeping somewhat in mind last year's. Like if we consider some of the former PlayStation presentations, some of the other top-level Xbox presentations, and some of the other Bethesda ones as well back in the day, this can't even come close to comparing. And even for this year, I would say this is low tier. So, I mean, yeah, it's not been a very good E3 so far, and this one just kind of represents that perfectly. So that is kind of it. That's all I have to say on this. Nothing special, nothing amazing. Watch Dogs looks good. Ghost Recon looks interesting at least. So we'll see. But that is it for this episode. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, definitely let me know. Hit me up on social media, all that stuff, and let me know in the comment section down below your thoughts on the presentation. And I'll see you in the next episode, which will probably be. I recorded this one second, so I think I'll record a second because it was fresh in my mind. So I think I'll probably go ahead and go into Bethesda now. So I'll see you in that episode. See you guys.